So Offkai is very, very soon, okay? There's meet and greets. So they make this post saying meet and greets ID check, and ID will be checked before all meet and greets. Any valid form of government issued IDs will work. And that's caused massive outrage. Well, not all outrage, I guess. It's called, a better way to say this would be, it's caused massive discussion in the VTuber community. And keep in mind, Offkai is like very close, right? They kind of just said that, and it's kind of blindsiding people. I will say that if you are doing meet and greets with a third party, how I do them sometimes with Our Culture, for example, or Mosobox, then they've told us that they'll only check the IDs if you want them to be checked. So it's up to the creator. So Peepa says, I'm going to get shit for this, but I think this is to cut down on scalpers reselling meet and greet tickets, plus stalker weirdos. Yes, the VTuber is on the screen, but stalkers show up, feel emboldened by making the VTuber uncomfortable, and their behavior escalates. I can imagine especially some of the larger agency VTubers being concerned about this and potentially asking for some sort of system in place, but just a theory. So there's kind of two sides to this. Basically, there's a lot of conventions that require ID. This is not really a new thing, but I think people are getting cold feet about Offkai because in the past, we've had, negative experiences with the Offkai volunteers. And I think this level of concern probably wouldn't happen if it was with another con. But we've had, some weirdos lately on the volunteer staff that have made some unhinged statement online, which is making some people lose trust in the Offkai staff. I haven't experienced that Offkai, but I've had to do ID checks at other conventions, but I can see how it can get more complicated for the VTuber scene. I think an ID check isn't all too bad of an idea. Yeah, I think in theory it shouldn't be a bad idea. I think people are more concerned about how this could be maliciously used by some Offkai volunteers who have some kind of hidden agenda, and there's a VTuber that they don't like, for example. They don't like Pippa. And then they ID check one of her fans that's going to her meet and greet, and they could potentially be like, well, I hate this guy, I see him on Twitter all the time, so I'm gonna dox him. So they've had some problem with Kersha, they've had some problems with Pippa. We've had this one Offkai volunteer that was let go kind of recently, I think, because he made some statements about Face Connect and how Sakana had to buy out Face Connect. I wish I could pull up. Oh, Sayu's here. I think the ID thing can be a good thing, but in general, God, the staff, ever since year one, nope. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying too. So I understand both sides here. I understand both sides. I understand that this is a concern for many, but I also understand that a lot of people that do the con circuits, they're kind of just used to carrying their ID around. You need to have trust in the staff. Like, I was talking about going to a con in person, and the staff would have gotten my ID if I ended up going there. Finally, it didn't work, like the dates didn't line up. But if it did work, I would have been entirely at the mercy of the staff, because they would have seen my government name and all of that. So yeah, it is a little bit spooky when you're a VTuber. But you just have to trust that people are going to be professional about it. Now the question comes down to whether or not this staff can be professional about it. And I think this is where the opinion differs largely. It's not about a question of whether or not you would have your ID on you or not. You would have your ID. You probably wouldn't show your ID to many people. Enjoy the convention. It's just really unfortunate. I've seen a lot of staff for cons, and man, we have a winner. Yeah, I know. It just sucks that, it's cool that we have a VTuber convention. It's rare, and it could do so much for the scene. It just sucks that there's been so much bad press about it. The previous Offkai AV exec, okay, so it wasn't a volunteer, it was an executive, started seething so hard at me, bringing up that a current Offkai staff member is openly racist. Okay, I'm refreshing my memory right now. This is Okay, it's worse than I remembered. Holy shit. They just went ahead and admitted in public that they did try to get rid of Pippa, but were bought out by fishmen. These people will not stop trying to get rid of those who do not strictly adhere to their politics, yet they won't even uphold their own standards if you offer to pay them enough. The only point seems to be power over others plus virtue signaling. It was never the volunteers, it was the staff. But that dude ended up stepping down, didn't he? Fishman is Sakana, the CEO of Face Connect. So this guy called Soundwave is the person she's speaking about in the tweet. You tried to guest at a con that from year one had trans staff and guests, and your surprise pronoun jokes were a deal breaker. You're a unique brand of stupid, but Electric Rabbit, blame Fishman. We tried to bar her and were bowed out. Bro, imagine admitting that on social media. That's so unprofessional. We tried to bar her and were bought out. Wow. That Soundwave person was fired and quit in 2023. Oh god, okay. He quit a long time ago. Oh, so he's making tweets about it 2 years later, like full on YOLO. It's a bit of a weird feeling having things come together so quickly. I think the AV team that's coming together for Offkai Expo this year is going to kill it, and that I have a little place on it, let alone running it. Happy to have been the stopgap. Okay, this is from 2023. Got it. And then in 2023, he says, seriously considering resigning from Offkai. Kind of boggles me that someone hasn't called for it. People using the, quote, Vtuber community as if they hasn't already been segregated. They? What is this guy on about? Is he talking when she made the R-word joke? Oh, come on. Give me a fucking break. She hasn't been segregated. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, all y'all want to do is tear each other apart, and I don't even know why I care anymore. I do know why. I feel obligated to as an Offkai exec, and I also want to share a good thing with as many people as possible, but like, I can just do my thing and go home and enjoy it myself. I can actually just stop giving a shit. Should I listen to you sooner? You have fallen. Vtuber is a slur. Yo, whoa, chill out. Oh, that was last year when the whole thing was going down. In 2024, Spins Wheel, Straub and Rev beef with Spins Wheel, Offkai on behalf of Spins Wheel, Kershaw. Get fucked, loser. And guest of honor and anybody with an average of more than 2 brain cells working at any given time. Really? But go off. After looking through the evidence, the picture seems clear. Offkai has blacklisted Kershaw from hosting a panel to serve the sensibilities of a few volunteers who intentionally scanned her account looking for offensive tweets. Hangout space and off-topic conversation in Offkai, and this is about Vom's project. And Soundwave response, I was hoping we'd be able to live this down, but karma's a bitch, ain't it? Are these execs, like, paid, or are they also unpaid execs? I can't see what this notice is about. Thank you for your continued support of Vom's project. We regret to inform you that amount of wait, this is about Pick-a-Me. Wait, he responded to a Pick-a-Me graduation notice saying, I was hoping we'd be able to live this down, but karma's a bitch? Oh, they're unpaid execs. Yes, I remember that in 2024 when the whole thing went down, I feel like they said that they were unpaid. May she have the best month of her career. And then it's supposed from Amano Pick-a-Me. I'm not sure what this is supposed to showcase. Is he being sarcastic? Everyone is unpaid in Offkai. Jeez. Wait, so we've had this discussion before because I'm getting a deja vu. But because I have a goldfish memory, we're going to have the discussion again. Does it work like that for every con? I get it. Offkai is a small con. But goddamn, is it all run on unpaid staff? Hey, no worries, Ellie, I try. Not all cons are unpaid staff. I mean, if you're not going to pay your staff, you're never... I mean, you get what you pay for with everything in life. And if you pay $0, well, you're going to get zero. I mean, you're going to get people that go above and beyond, but... you don't really get to put your foot down and be like, yo, you can't do that. You have chaos, but maybe they can afford it. I don't really know the intricacies of what goes on behind the scene at Offkai. I'm not going to pretend I do. But, you know, you can't just slap them with a contract and be like, yo, here's an NDA, here's this, here's that, you're not allowed to do this. Everybody's going to be like, well, I'm here to have fun. Fuck you, then. I'm not going to work. Had friends that volunteered at AX and Anime LA for the free ticket. Oh, they could probably do it for free tickets. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, TBH, look, I don't think all unpaid staff are going to do crap work. Like, I was an intern once. If you're passionate about what you're doing, you're gonna go above and beyond. The people that do my meet and greets, I don't know if they're paid or not, but I feel like there's a lot of helpers there and they're so fucking cool. They're so professional. They're there the entire day on their feet, making sure everybody's having a good time. So these are not Offkai staff, but it's just an example of, you know, I think unpaid workers, if they're passionate about what they're doing, you can still get good people. The people that will be taking those volunteer positions will have other motives for taking the opportunity. That's the cost for them not being compensated with cash. Yes, and yeah, that can happen too. Like, absolutely. That is definitely something at play here. It is a disservice to all the volunteers doing their best all day for no cash, because I'm sure there's some good people working there, and it's being outshined by people like the Soundwave guy. Oi, you! Yeah, you! Hi! If you're not subscribed to my second channel, I don't know what you're doing with your life. So take a moment, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell on. And thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now let's get back into the video. Another thing an acquaintance pointed out to me, the VOMs shared the fact of P's graduation with their organizing partner of the Vomstered Annie pop-up store in advance. Things like this take months to plan. Lay that out on a timeline and think. This event will be planned and implemented after we shared the Pick Me graduation with Maru in advance, and they said they would love to send us off together. Rumor mill, a grain of salt as per usual. They're saying it's not because of the harassment that she's graduating. Is that what it is? But a reasonable point. Unfortunately, I believe the original Japanese only says to the effect of the event will be planned with the graduation in mind. It was shared with them in advance of the announcement, not carrying the translation's implication that this wasn't necessarily a sudden occurrence. Yeah, that's fair. She did say in her video description that Japanese is king on any wording, which obviously I cannot read, so. The literal phrasing of the clause in Japanese is as Pikami's graduation was shared in advance with Marui, and we received that. They said, of course, they'd send her off together. It's ambiguous, but we just talked to them and changed our plans is an admissible interpretation as far as my knowledge of Japanese serves me. I fear so much for trans VTubers. A bunch ended up graduating because of the harassment. And now people are going to use this as a new way to harass them. This is actually a big effing yikes. Oh, they're posting Tenma's post. For management decision to clarify the bullies, get the rope, you fucking idiots. I don't know, but this tweet is very dangerous just looking at the QRTs. I mean, Tenma's tweet was definitely directed at the people who harassed Pikami because she was a big fan of Pikami. It was directed at people who harassed her. If you're anti-harassment of any kind, you should understand that. While I personally will not have advice for that tweet, I don't really blame her for having that sentiment of fuck the bullies. See, that person is kind of where I'm at there. I believe Tenma did end up removing that tweet, by the way. Probably because other people were piggybacking off this tweet to send a lot of hatred. From the Offkai director's DMs with Kershaw, he said that people that caused the issue with Pippa left last year. That was 2024. True! I 100% believe that Hogwarts Legacy bullies or YGG got some blowback for coming out as asexual, because now all LGBT are linked with them in VTubing. Some of it for sure. Some of it is just fear that Hololive will become quote unquote woke. I don't think Gigi was trying to do any kind of woke statement when she said that. I think she was genuinely it was just the first time that she thought about her sexuality, and she said that, and she kind of just said it candidly. And nowadays there's a word for it, I guess, for not being sexually attracted to people, and she used it, so now people are upset with it. I think it was a nothing burger. And the word woke means so many things different. I realized that it's used by different people in many different ways, and not everybody has the same definition of it. And it kind of makes sense that Gigi is asexual. I kind of got those, I think everybody got those vibes from her. I don't really see her having any kind of, sexual thoughts about anybody, There has been a word for not being attracted for years. I first heard in a welcoming over a decade ago. All right, well, don't try to expose my age here, right? I'm trying to LARP as somebody young. All right, these were the DMs with the Offkai dude with Kershaw. And this is where Lysander says the people who had caused this issue with Pippa left us last year as well. So our attendance last year was 1,853 people. It seems like people being petty. Possibly the same people who didn't want Pippa to be there previously. But I am an easier mark to get rid of since I do not have the backing of a company, much less a company that sponsors so much of Offkai. And then he responds, the people who had caused the issue with Pippa left us last year as well. So our attendance last year was 1,853. This was in 2024, and the dude, the Soundwave guy, would have left in 2023. So this actually lines up like super well. And this is the proof where they say that they're all unpaid, I think. Hi, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Thank you as well. This whole situation blindsided me at the tail end of my vacation. Sorry for interrupting you at your vacation like this. I guess I'll just start with the what about ex-party situation. If you're referring to who I think you are, yes, they were part of our event last year. But that was before everything went down. Ooh, are they referring to that same guy? Is it still the Soundwave guy? Oh my god, we're drawing all these dots, guys. We chose this year to not continue to work with them. Also, they chose to continue not to work with them. So it wasn't the other guy who resigned. Interesting. We aren't all know of each group or person we work with and try to do some basic screening, but sometimes things just don't get found. Our organization is made up of all volunteers from pretty much every background you can think of. No one is getting paid. Okay, no one's getting paid. That's it. Yeah, no one's getting paid at all. So a lot of the difficulties of managing 100+ people is making sure our team feels comfortable giving up their free time to help us. We have members on staff who are fans of you and your work and other members who are not. I think it is fair to say that you're a bit controversial with a lot of your takes, especially for a staff largely based in California. During the pitch phase, we talked with the panelists about topic and people they want to work with and clear it with our staff first. And in this case, we didn't know till everything was already in motion last week, basically. There's a lot of volunteers involved in working either directly or indirectly with every guest and panelist. And it isn't exactly fair for us to ask them to do something they're not comfortable with. Yeah, they're kind of at the mercy of their volunteers is what he's saying. We are in a difficult spot of managing guest, panelist, staff, industry expectation, balancing them all. So that's what led us to asking that you don't participate in the panel. Wait, they're asking her to not participate in the panel, or they're telling her that she's not gonna make it to the panel? I feel like she doesn't really have a choice, but he's phrasing it like she does. We did get a list of screenshots that made staff uncomfortable. If you do wish to see some of them, they're mostly tweets that you made in the past. The money goes, where does the money goes? I actually asked that exact same question to one of my friends, and what she answered, she's somebody that knows a lot more about cons than me. I think it was Shock Mommy. Love her. You should check out her channel if you can. But she basically said that the venue cost a shit ton. The venue cost, that's where most of the money goes for, especially if it's a California venue. They're extremely expensive. Oh, he was fired. I was fired. It's not exactly a secret. Why the fuck would you admit to this? Because Offkai can handle their own dirty laundry. Certainly an interesting choice to advertise yourself as a liability. I was fired. It's not exactly a secret. That's my point. It isn't your best interest to further validate their decision? I mean, it's probably irrelevant, really, but it supports my point that I've spoken to and operated by consistent principles throughout. It was a secret until just now, actually. Really wasn't, for sure. This dude single-handedly put the bad label or vindicated all of people's fear about Offkai execs and Offkai volunteers by doing these tweets. Basically, he's just saying, well, I got fired, and I wasn't paid, so fuck Offkai. They can handle their own dirty laundry, so fuck them, So he's just gonna turn around and whatever, he's exposing them or showing their own dirty laundry like he's saying. It's kind of dumb, and I guess this is the result of unpaid labor, but then again, maybe Offkai just can't do anything about it, so it's screwed.